Back. My internet was compromised. I believe that we have a saboteur in the house. But now we're back in business. And I appreciate you guys coming in on a Saturday night stream. Welcome to the world of West Hollywood Wi Fi. It ain't pretty. Sorry about that, boys and girls. I don't wrestle, but I did get 2 new wrestling dolls, courtesy of John Sosis. Here's the first one. Sting in the house. And the great Brody Lee. That's in the way. Sorry about that, guys. The Wi Fi is wacky. The wildlife. This is the wildlife. So I'm just watching the King game. Thought I'd do a little Saturday night stream. I do realize Kevin Brennan is on right now, but normally I don't like to go on when he's on. But I think that he can deal with the 9 people who are watching me. But I did ship the box. The box is gone. Maybe if I put this here instead. Well, I go there. Well, there's a special. Well, it's not my fault, Dr. Nova. It's just West Hollywood Wi-Fi. There's no towers around me, so I'm dealing with, and there's no fiber cable available. There's a Target in Glendale that has really good AEW action figures. So because the Target by me in Beverly Hills, West Hollywood, they don't prioritize the wrestling dolls. And thank you for AC to ACDC 5150 for his super chat from the first stream. One day that will help pay for better Wi-Fi. So I appreciate that. Thank you, ACDC. Thank you to the other 9. Let me see if I can remember. Beloved Chatter, Saint Ranger, and Pam I Am for donating a lot of memberships. And thank you all for listening. I appreciate it. I'm just a humble Los Angeles comic trying to navigate the jungles of the live stream. So, I'm a one-man army. I'm a soldier. So I appreciate the support, be it financial or just hitting like or just watching, listening. Mason in Portland, welcome to Bonzo Berry. Thank you. Welcome aboard, Mason in Portland. I welcome trolls, fans, haters. A listener is a listener. And the goal of these streams is to really just get you people interested enough on I have an 85-inch TV. Congrats to you, AC/DC. Oh, thank you, Doctor Nova. What part of the movie are you on? Why don't you have Bennett do it? Sounds like something he'd get off on. Um, I love the one scene in the beginning where Schwarzenegger and the guy with the bamboo hat get on the plane, and the one girl, or Schwarzenegger asks her, "Oh, what time do we land?" "We land in Valverde in 11 hours." You know she got that role because she probably porked Schwarzenegger. There was always those weird cameos of like one line, some bimbo with one line. Yeah, please, oh stewardess, please don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired. That's such a good movie. I mean, it is very 80s for sure. Peter Chicken Man Brennan. I don't send Steve Breaks, the guy with the beard from Vegas. I'm a one man army. I don't do a guest on the stream. Uh, I'd rather talk alone for an hour. I try and keep these streams at a nice economical hour, maybe a little over an hour. Like I said last night, I did a 4-hour stream with the great Pat Dixon, and it really went by like that. So that was fun. I guess you could go on his Twitter to find the link from last night's show. And I was going to be on one of the judges of the Stevie Lou Chad Zumach roast, but I guess that's not happening anymore. Favorite 90s Arnold movie? I don't really have one. I guess because I kind of became friends at the Comedy Store through via Richard Tyson, Kindergarten Cop, or was that late '80s? I forget. Oh, I didn't watch Brennan tonight. Yes, we've already recorded it. So for those of you who like a little bit of Earl being interviewed, go on Old School Comedies podcast Monday with me and the great Christy Miller. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I guess that would be it. I kind of, he had such a great run in the '80s that it was very hard for me to, if you look at his run in the '80s, you had Terminator, Conan, Commando, Raw Deal, Total Recall. Was Terminator 2 '91? Uh, but those couple movies. Last Action Hero was kind of a bomb. But, I always felt bad for the kid in that. What was his name? Austin O'Brien, because I don't know. This business is so fucking nutty that when your first movie, I think that was his first movie, is a total bomb. Uh, it's tough to recover. Twins was all right. I liked it when he was more of an action guy. Exorcist does still stand up. A good movie will stand up. Like Heat will always be a good movie. I don't mean the one with Burt Reynolds, but that's the worst when you see Heat's on and you like get all excited because that's such a great Michael. It might be Michael Mann's greatest work. And you turn on, it's the Burt Reynolds one about a down and out PI in Vegas. Although it is not that bad. I mean, Burt Reynolds had some decent movies in the mid '80s, like Heat, Sharky's Machine. Uh, yeah, Raw Deal is underrated, but I think Collateral. I mean, Michael Mann is great. Like, I had no idea that he wrote the pilot for the TV show Vegas. And I can't see him and Aaron Spelling vibing. Aaron Spelling was very, big tits and, you know, glam and, Tony Curtis and, Three's Company style. And, Michael Mann, I think I read in one interview, he wanted Vegas to kind of be a dark show, um, and gritty. And I think he left once he saw what Aaron Spelling was turning it into. I did like the thing with Kurt Russell. I mean, unfortunately, it was too close to Escape from New York, but time wise, so I Vegas is a good. The first couple seasons were good. Um, some great guest stars. You know, and then got a little. You could tell people had checked out on the show. I mean, Aaron Spelling was hopping around from show to show. I mean, he had Dynasty, Charlie's Angels, and I think a couple others. So I don't know. I think once Vegas became like a hit, he probably left the reins to other people, and that's usually when a show drops off. Like when Chris Carter was involved in the first season of Millennium, it was great, and then he kind of handed over the reins so he could go back to X Files. And then, same thing with like Miami Vice when I think Michael Mann, he didn't leave the show, but when he left to start Crime Story and handed over the reins to Dick Wolf, uh, that, it dropped off in most people's eyes. Come on, knock on my door. We've been waiting for you. Where the kisses are hers and hers and hers. Three's company too. That's funny, one Santos. I might have to use that. I never really thought about it that way. Um, I think they would hire them to look at their tits. I mean, at least I would. But I mean, that was a perfect show for the perfect era. Um, are they doing Demolition Man too? Um, that is funny, Santos. I might have to. Of course, it's not good for my career when I'm taking a joke from my chat stream chat. But hey, you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Like in roast battle, I wrote most of my jokes, but sometimes people would give me a good one and I'd use it. I also heard Stallone say that there might be a Nighthawks TV series. I'd be down with that. Nighthawks is probably my favorite non-Rocky Rambo Stallone movie. I did not know Danny Sugarman. That is a joke, one Santos, written in my style. All right, we got the Kings, Rangers, third start of the third period. Kings are up 2-1 on goals by Kevin Fiala and Quentin Byfield. The Kings, very strange. They were the best team in the league 3 weeks ago. Now they've like lost 11 in a row. Of course, like 5 of them were in overtime, so they still get a point. Yeah, Cobra is legit. Uh, any way to get a cameo in a Stallone movie for me or you? I don't know. Cobra is legit. Nighthawks is great. Oh, that's probably my favorite ending because back then, you just didn't see it coming. I mean, anything's possible. I've got enough high-end agent and manager friends that could hook that up. I could have been the weed guy in Tulsa King, and the funny thing is, I knew the director of Tulsa King, or producer, Michael Flabat, because he was the main writer on I'm Dying Up Here. and he loved me. He wrote a scene for me specifically where, if you remember that short-lived television show I was on, um, they wanted to show how desperate Ari, the blonde girl, was, and she fucks me. He's like, "Hey, man, I wrote this scene for you. I really like you. I want to get you more lines, but it's just tough because it's only an hour show and everyone's got to get their lines in, and you're a secondary character. So I wrote this scene for you, but the network didn't want to portray a girl getting passed around like that. So, welcome to Hollywood. It's a tough business. What up, William Zoom, my go to man of knowledge in my stream. Hollywood is cutthroat. I'm not going to lie. It's a business that bumps me out at times. But I like doing it too much, so I'm not going to quit. I'll keep going until I don't have fun, and then I'll quit. I know that's what I was saying, but this was right around the start of the Me Too with Weinstein and Cosby. Uh, you know, so it just that was the '70s comedy scene. I mean, women unfortunately were um, not treated very well. So but I get why they didn't want to do it. You remember Ready to Rumble? I was at the premiere of Ready to Rumble. David Arquette's my boy. The Jeep is back in business. So far, nothing wrong with it. Thank you for asking, William. Thank you, and along with you and Jay Santos, and I believe Wheezy Jefferson, with the feedback and info. What up, Ross Incognito? Well, they better notify Joe Coy if that happens, because his whole fan base is Asian. That's why I say the Golden Globes audience, his manager. If I were Joe Coy and that happened, I would have fired my manager. Like Joe Coy's audience is literally 80% Asian. The Golden Globes audience is probably 90% white. It's the complete opposite of his fan base. But I'm sure the manager saw the paycheck and probably didn't even bother to tell Joe Coy that four other people had passed on the gig. Stay warm out there, Ross. I mean, I don't have that much money, to be honest with you. I mean, uh, you know, Russell Peters, Joe Rogan, they've got money. I can order Postmates and not worry about it. You know. Now, once I get enough members, I will do to pay respect to the people who pay for memberships. So, maybe once a week we'll do a members only chat, and I'm looking at ways to give you guys value for your money. I'm on Patreon now. I will put my longer stand-up sets instead of on YouTube. Maybe extraneous. Yeah, but I know how managers work, agents and managers. I guarantee you, the four. Let's just say it's true, and the four people passed. They probably thought, well, Joe Coy has a large Asian, fan base. He'll get more numbers. And the manager probably didn't tell Joe Coy, hey, man, like if he was really caring For Joe Clay's like, "Bro, don't take this gig. It's a no-win gig." That's the type of gig Jeff Ross would be good at. He don't give a fuck if he bombs or not. Yeah, I mean, Chick-fil-A. I mean, I will give a shout out to Citibank. They reimbursed me for all the scams and whatnot, um, 2 days later. I mean, I think it was pretty obvious it wasn't like anything on my part. Have I ever I no, I don't really play pinball games. I mean, I'm really, if I ever had like a man cave or whatnot, I would, have a poker table for my friends to come over. I don't gamble, but, I think that'd be cool to have, like, a real Vegas poker table. Have obviously a big screen. I mean, you know how daddy rolls. Maybe a ping pong table. Oh, 100%. So, when he got the offer, he just saw the money he'd make and, essentially threw his client, Joe Coy, under a bus. 'Cause, he absolutely bombed. There's no way to cover that up, but, you know, I've done a lot of industry showcases, for Just for Laughs, which is the Montreal Comedy Festival, any TV show I've ever auditioned for, um, and they're the worst. It's all industry. And look at that room. I think in the front row or close to the front was a fucking old-looking Harrison Ford. He just wants to get his award and go home. You think he wants to hear jokes from a comedian he's most likely probably never heard of? It's not a slam on Joe Coy, it's just a reality. Did you ever play I played Madden 24. I bought 5 video games I bought a PlayStation 5 recently, a couple months ago. I bought Madden, baseball game, which is just too fucking long. The hockey game I don't like. The golf game's pretty good. AEW Fight Forever is awful. If I was in Tony Khan's ear, I'd be like, dude, you can't release this. It's horrible. And one other game, soccer, and I haven't played the soccer one yet. I mean, it's not the funniest comics who get it. It's managers. Like I remember one year I auditioned for Just for Laughs. First year I auditioned, I did good, not great, so I shouldn't have gotten it. Second year I did pretty good, but probably still shouldn't have gotten it. You can't do pretty good. You got to kill it. Third year I killed it. Like I had the perfect 6-minute showcase set, and 2 people who bombed on that, and I'm friends with both of them. They got it. And after the showcase, like the night of, the guy running the camera, who was definitely an executive, he wasn't just a camera guy. He's like, "We'll be seeing you in a few months." And I didn't get it. So the next year is the last year I ever auditioned for it. He came up to me and goes, "Hey, just so you know why the other 2 got it and you didn't?" I'm like, "No." Like, "They have managers. I'm guessing you don't." I'm like, "No, I don't." I mean, I ended up doing, Montreal, 2 years in a row with Roast Battle, but I wanna do it as a stand-up. It's 12:51 left to go in the 3rd period. The LA Kings are up 2 goals to 1. Uh, the New York comedy connoisseur, Dr. Nova. I was in the hospital with Blue Iris when she was sick. So a lot of people came in to visit her. Finally, the doctor comes up to me and goes, "Who is that?" I've never seen so many people visit someone. So um, it is weird to see Jonathan Quick playing for the Rangers. And you could tell every time there's a stoppage in play, the Kings, I kind of give him some side talk. Like, "What up, Quickie? Yo, 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 yo." I hope the TV is not too annoying in the background. Yeah, yeah. I mean, drugs. I mean, there are functioning drug addicts, but I work with several of them. But I mean, she wasn't the most healthy looking person, even when she was healthy, but she was very cool. I miss her. Well, now what's more important is just having a following. You know, I mean, selfishly, if my YouTube channel ever were to pop off, I would have managers and agents calling me, "Hey, we'd love to work with you. You've got 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and you make this amount of money on super chat. So I want a cut of that now." So I mean, really, it's never been easier to make it on your own. I mean, what you really want a manager for, to be honest with you, is like when I was on Roast Battle, the television show. Out of the 16 contestants, I was the only one with no representation. Which is why I got so fucked over because Jeff, his manager, and Comedy Central, they didn't care what happened to me. Yeah, let's give Earl all the tough battles, and if he wins, it's a great story. If he's not, fuck him. I mean, that's sadly how they felt. Uh, oh yeah, I mean, in comedy, there's functioning addicts, there's functioning pedophiles, there's functioning rapists. Yeah, I really need it done. I might have need now. Actually, you know, I didn't need Dante. Yeah, I really was. I mean, my first battle with Jesse Joyce, who's a great comedian and writer and roaster. I my friend worked at Comedy Central. He was like, "You know why you're battling Jesse Joyce?" I'm like, "I really don't. I've never met the guy." Because they know he's just going to get up there and read his jokes, and they want you to come in with your shirt off, flexing, and all that bullshit. And I'm like, "Oh, cool." So I'm being used to, and he shouldn't have even been on the show because if you saw the movie Quiz Show, um, there's the game show law. When there's a cash prize, there's supposed to be no conflicts of interest on a television show that is a cash prize only. And I don't even know where to start with the conflicts on Roast Battle. I mean, Jeff Ross is an executive producer and the head judge. Jeff Ross's manager is managing contestants and judges. So what happens when a client of hers is battling and she's got judges in her back pocket too? And employees of Comedy Central should not have been on the show. So, I mean, it's a laundry list of, people think that, I'm just saying this because I don't like Jeff or whatever, which I absolutely don't. But it was just wrong what was done to me. Oh, they absolutely. They thought he'd come in and bury me, but I'd make it fun. So I was very motivated for that battle. I can assure you of that much. So, are we out of breakaway? Oh man, that should have been a penalty. Sorry. It is very dirty. Oh yeah, but it's the business, I guess. But my whole point is, it doesn't have to be the business. Like on a dumb show like Roast Battle, it can be everyone gets to eat. I mean, like for example, if I had a manager, they would have said to Comedy Central, yeah, Earl's not going to battle Jesse. He's one of the co-founders of the show. Um, he should have because everyone else got a warm-up battle. I didn't. Um, if you look at like in the Road to Roast battle, which was basically the warm-up to the show, Mike Lawrence got to battle his friend Jay Larson. He'd never fucking battled before. Hinchcliffe got to battle Mark Norman, never battled before. Uh, and, another contestant had three people in their bracket who had never battled combined before. So, this goes to when I say if you have the truth on your side, you can just say it. Nothing I've said tonight or any other time has been anything but the truth. Oh, Jesse's awesome. I got no beef with him, but you know, when you look at it, oh, England moving up ice. Um, but he's an employee of the network, and you could just see, like, you had to be in the room to know how bad I beat him. I mean, it was a Mike Tyson knockout, and but on the TV show, they put in fake crowd noise for some of his jokes. Because I've had people come up to me and go, "Hey, man, that battle with Jesse was great. It was pretty close." But if you were in the room, it was not close. And then if you look at my battle with Jimmy Carr, and they were so pissed that I beat him, they showed more of him doing well than me. So why get taken care of? I understand that, William, but don't have me on the fucking show then. You know, if you're gonna fuck me over, have someone else on the show who doesn't mind. Like Mark Norman, he didn't care. I mean, Jeff rigged his battle on live television because was it Mark was battling Hinchcliffe, and there's one rule of roast battle. It's one rule: if you go first and the battle goes into overtime, you go second, so both people get a chance at the rebuttal. Everyone knows that. It's the only rule of roast battle. So it was a good battle. Mark went first, and then right before overtime starts, and even Tony knew this because you could see Tony getting ready to go, and Jeff goes, "Hey, Mark, I think you should go first," because he wanted Tony to get the last word. Oh, and Tony writes jokes for Jeff. So shit like that's literally illegal. So now Mark doesn't care. He didn't care about winning roast battle. Weezy Jefferson, I'm sorry. Have you ever considered taking comedy classes? I no. I'm trying to read them all. Pens blew another lead tonight. Vegas is legit. I mean, for me, I'm a counter puncher, so I always like going second. Like in the one battle I lost on TV, and I know someone that told her this, but it's all good. Everyone, there's all kinds of info exchanges in roast battle. I think someone told Sarah, my good friend Sarah Tiana, "Hey, make Earl go first. He doesn't like going first." And it's not that I don't like going first, but I just prefer going second because then I can play off of what they said about me. And I do think there is an advantage of going second because you get the last word, especially if the battle doesn't go into overtime. Because if it's a close battle, ooh, Jason LaFerriere, oh, Jesus, man. Just got hit in the face with the puck. And I bet you he doesn't miss a shift, but he is bleeding. Probably missing some teeth. Um, so, and like, if you look at the battle, I'm not encouraging anyone to go to Comedy Central and watch Jesse and me. But if you do so, I won the battle right there because the bell rang. It's the first battle. It was the last battle on the show that night. And I knew Jeff was going to want me to go first. I could see Jeff about to say something like, "Well, Jesse, you're the big fucking pro. Show me how it's done, bitch." And that threw him off. And then let's just say I started taking over. But I don't want to bore you guys with my grievances with Roast Battle. But I guess it's too late. I've already done it. But it was a fascinating. I'm the only thing I'm glad. The reason why I got effed over is it was a fascinating education in seeing how a manager and his client or her client Jeff could fuck up a TV show. Oh yeah. Now a lot of these things, Michael, may seem like I'm being trivial, but when it's a cash prize show, there's supposed to be no like you guys remember my ex Chandler. She was one of the head writers and on the golf show Holy Moly with Rob Riggle. So I asked her, "Hey, why don't you get me on it? I used to play golf and I wasn't that great, but I was a great putter. Because trust me, with this prescription, I could see individual blades of grass. Trust me on that one, Bubba." And she's like, "I can't." And I'm like, "Why not?" She's like, "Well, you probably would win the thing. And then they could say your girlfriend set it up, easier brackets or easier holes, because some holes on that show were easier than others. And because holy moly, there was a cash prize, much like roast battle. So that absolutely would have been a conflict of interest if I would have won. And my girlfriend at the time is one of the writers on the show. It wouldn't have looked good. For me, her, the network, probably Riggle. Well, he knows Riggle, so it was a setup. It was a fix. So, that's why, like if some, I bet you, like, for example, like I was there the night on Holy Moly that the producer, right before the first night of shooting, they gathered everyone around and said, "I just want to make sure none of you know anyone on this show. I don't care if it's a producer or the camera guy." Uh, yeah, I don't know why it's not on anymore. It's a fun show. It's like, a silly golf show. And I loved Joe Tessitore. I always thought he got fucked over on Monday Night Football. You got Booger McFarland giving you lines of, "Well, Joe, there's 2 minutes left, and the Steelers are down 14-6. They've got to score." Like, what is Joe Tessitore supposed to say to that? Yeah, but I mean, I think it might. I know they do it in Australia, but it's not Joe Tessitore. It's some rugby player with Riggle. But I think Riggle was in the new Big Fat Greek Wedding, like the third one in that franchise. So, good for him, I guess. I always enjoyed it, um, but and the ratings were good, and it was kind of a cheap show. To really the biggest expense was Riggle's salary, and I'm sure. Oh, we got Steve Moore in a partial breakaway. Whoa! Um, and I mean, I'm sure Tessitore made a few bucks, but I don't. I mean, the set was pretty nice. So it was like being on a movie set. Uh, but the only bad thing was they filmed at night. So anytime I would go on set, it was bone chillingly freezing, and some of the stunts involved falling in water, and man, it was cold. So we got under 5 minutes left. The Kings are up 2 goals to 1, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. The return of Jonathan Quick has a New York Ranger. Ooh, Jonathan Quick looks good. I got to be honest with you. His last season with the Kings, he was fading, but so far so good. In goal for the LA Kings now. Big save, Dave Riddich. Thank you guys for watching on a Saturday night. I do know Kevin Brennan is on right now, but sometimes you got to go on. So my apologies to Kevin. I'm not trying to steal any listeners from you. And even if you're watching, Kevin, I'm pretty sure you don't mind that there's 12 people in here. Michael, I will. They are hard to track down, and they aren't the most tech savvy. Like I've reached out to a few, and they're like, "Oh, dude, I don't have Zoom." I'm like, "Bro, everyone has Zoom." Like it's like when people used to tell me about I'm dying up here, like, "Bro, I don't watch it because I don't have Showtime or I can't find Showtime." It's like Showtime's on every cable system or satellite system. Shit. But they are great. But and sadly, a lot of these guys are dead or girls, or they're just off the grid. They're not even in the business anymore. Like Jenny Wright from the Wildlife and the Chocolate War, and Johnny B. Good. She's fucking. I don't know how I found her. I think Facebook, and that was a struggle to get her to do it. Like we kept going back and forth, and so it's just. Like I would love to have my favorite actor of all time, John Glover, on, but he's kind of living semi-retired off the grid in Northern California with his partner. You know, so it's just not. It's just difficult. Even if they want to do it, it's difficult. Like John Glover said he would do it, but he's also busy doing autograph signings, conventions. What up, Cindy James? So it's not just their schedule, but then are they tech savvy to get the link from Zoom? A lot of them don't understand that. And when I'm more tech savvy than they are, that's not a good sign. Oh, Cindy, I didn't hear about that. I mean, she is pretty. I mean, I'm a boob guy though. Uh, but I don't know if she knows what she's getting herself into. Yes, Out of Bounds as well. Glover's awesome, man. Like he's a 52 pickup. Yeah, but that might not have been Kate Meany, Cindy. All right. Dubois, nice pass to Kopitar. Kopitar breaking down the right wing. Matt Waugh. 3:04 left to go in the game. It's 2-1 Los Angeles Kings. Here's PL Dubois. Dubois, an enigmatic player for the Kings. Whoa. Um, oh, okay. I mean, natural boobs are always better. She was also in Out of Bounds. Also in an episode of Crime Story with Kevin Spacey. I think she was in episode 1 of season 2 of Crime Story. Um, but Glover is like, you want to see him at his best? 52 pickup. I'm going to get my energy drink. Hold on, kiddies. I mean, but any girl who lets Dub Davidoff put it in her ass, that's tough to overlook. 2:16 left to go in the Kings game. Keep you posted. I don't think anyone's a hockey fan in the stream, but getting back to boobs, natural's always better. Okay, Kongzilla. It's 150 left to go in the game. This is the return of Jonathan Quick. Has a New York Ranger. It's very bizarre. All right, we got Steve Moore. Oh no, offsides, offsides. Uh-oh, high stick. We got a penalty. High stick penalty. Controversial high stick penalty. Didn't look like a penalty to me. Yeah, I mean, John Glover is a very underappreciated actor. Like, let's see if this is a high stick. I mean, yeah, that's a high stick. But Fox went down like Lee Harvey Oswald shot him. Um, yeah, I mean, I feel bad for Ron Francis just because after what George McPhee did in Vegas, the kind of the scam of how he built the team. It's not a scam, but like he was very shifty with how he did it. I think Ron Francis tried to do the same thing, and GMs were like, Basically, McPhee would draft a lot of players he knew teams wanted that he didn't necessarily need. Like he would draft a defenseman that he didn't need, but he knew other teams wanted them. So he kind of held them hostage for draft picks and players. And then Ron Francis tried to do the same thing. I was a Kevin Stevens guy until he got into the crack. You'll like that, Kongzilla. Look at that right there. That is a picture of Yaromir, autographed, framed picture of Yaromir Yager. Now, when I had long hair and I wore a Jofa helmet, they called me Baby Yager. All right, I'm gonna announce the last minute 26 of the King. A big save, Dave Riddick, with a left pad save on LaFerriere. Big save, Dave. This could be the game that turns the Kings season around. Oh my God. Big save, Dave Riddick just stopped a goal. Wow. A very ironically enough, Jonathan Quick type save. All right, we got the New York Rangers on a power play with a minute 32 left in the power play, 107 to go in the third period. Jonathan Quick leaving the net. Power play, New York Rangers. Here comes uh, Trocheck with the puck along the boards, out to Fox at the point. Intercepted by Anderson. Back to Panarin at the base of the circle. Fox at the point. He's looking. Zibanejad let it go. He's looking. Fox is trying to get the puck over to Zibanejad. 36 seconds left to go in the game. Here comes LaFerriere around the net, looking for the bread man, Panarin. Panarin at the circle. LaFerriere down low. Back to Panarin at the top of the circle. To a one-timer to Zibanejad wide. The Kings, puck goes out of the zone. The Kings are going to win the game, I believe. Here comes the bread man, Panarin, with one last rush. Kings with it. 3 seconds left. Let's party, baby. Big save. Dave Riddick gets the win over Los Angeles Kings legend Jonathan Quick. Big save, Dave. Get it. Yes, they do, Jim Fox. At the start of the season, oh man, my viewers are going down ever since I'm announcing hockey. That's all right. Hit the likes if you can. Any Dabbleverse questions are $5 and up. It's a new rule I have. I can't be a part of that world anymore, but I will for $5. Hello. I don't know who Jim Brockmeyer is, Williamson. Please enlighten me and the other. Well, the likes are going wild right now. We have 14 likes and 11 viewers. How's that possible? 12 viewers now. We're going hard tonight. Now, I don't do the 2, 3, 4 hour streams. We're gonna do a couple more minutes, and then I'm gonna work out. I might play a game of Madden and let the caffeine kick in. But I do appreciate the support of the Earlomaniacs. It's a positive stream here. We don't tolerate negativity in this stream. You're guessing correct, William. I was up Thursday night. Had to go on after Bill Burr. It worked out. I haven't. What channel is it on? Speaking of watching, I'll be on the ID channel January 29th. And then January 30th, if the roast of Stevie Lou and the Chad Zumach goes on, I'll be judging that, I believe, with my 4 hour stream cohort, Pat Dixon. I did. I used to go to the WWF with my dad at the Olympic Auditorium, which is now a church. So the fans must speak out. If you want me on any particular TV shows, I wish I went to the Sportatorium. It helps, if you tweet out or Instagram, whatever. I mean, I get, hey, where's Earl Skakel? Like Gutfeld, stuff like that. I know a lot of my friends got on simply through their fans saying, we want to see so-and-so on Gutfeld. And then they're on. I like Kamala, as you can tell. You might be new to being a fan of mine, Kongzilla, or maybe you're not a fan. Maybe you're just listening. But this is my love of Kamala. Life size. His book was great. Quick read, too. I'm not sure how much of it he wrote it, but, doesn't matter. I like Jim Cornette. It's a little schmaltzy for me. Sometimes I think he just says things to get a reaction. Like I'm the opposite. I say things that are what I believe are true. So, but he is. I mean, I guess we're in the same business. But I don't say controversial things just to say them. I mean, I would love to get the wrestling fans in here. I was telling someone that today. They're like, "Well, if you're not going to do Dabbleverse talk, how are you going to make money on your stream?" And I'm like, "Well, I'd love to get wrestling fans in my stream arguing. Who's better, MJF or Seth Rollins? $5 or whatever. They would pay to argue with each other and me. So, yeah, I did not see Mick Foley's one man show, but I did open up for Jake the Snake Roberts' one man show. And that was great. Jake Roberts is a great storyteller. He told a really funny story once that he was in the car with Brutus Beefcake, I guess, and Brutus Beefcake was complaining that his wife is cheating on him. And then they look over, and Brutus Beefcake's wife is in a car with Rick Rude. Hello. Greg Gutfeld. I mean, I don't find Gutfeld funny at all, but like he's almost funnier when he's bombing. And selfishly, I think I could fucking do really well on Gutfeld because the wrestler guy is a Tyrus. He's not very funny. The main girl they have on isn't very funny. So, I'd definitely be the funniest guy in the panel. Yeah, but only when I have a button in the back where he sings it when I press it. Uh, I got no problem with Stone Cold. Like once again, I said the truth. When I was the co-host with Piper in Piper's podcast, was it podcast one? Stone Cold went to podcast one and said, "It's him or me." He didn't say them because he didn't know who I was, but podcast one picked Stone Cold. And then when we went to what was it, Earwolf, which was another podcast network, we got kicked off of that network, and the ratings were good. So I have no proof, but I probably believe that someone from Stone Cold's camp, if not Stone Cold himself, said, "Hey, oh, sorry about that, carbonation." Uh, all of a sudden, we're kicked off a second network where the ratings were very good. I mean, Piper's podcast got big numbers, so you know, yeah. I mean, Kamala. It's a very sad story. That's a business, man. Once you're physically unable to work, you're fucking gone, man. You know. I mean, look at even Hogan. They don't use Hogan anymore because he can barely fucking walk. Flair they still use because he's pretty good on the mic, though. But like, these guys break down. They just replace him with a younger one. It's a tough fucking business, man. Very much like stand-up comedy, or vice versa. Well, yeah, I mean Nick DiPaolo and Joe DeVito are great, but I don't think I'd be on with them. It's usually one comic and then the girl, Tyrus, Gutfeld, and maybe two comics, but um, I mean, it is a little hacky. It's very much in the vein of Byron Allen's show. Where they try, they set you up with a line so you can go into a joke, but it's like such a bad setup. Like Stevie Wonder could see it coming. Like Byron Allen. I never did Comics Unleashed, but like he would like look at me and go, "So Earl, I hear you like hockey." And then I'd go into a hockey joke that I told him beforehand, But Byron Allen's trying to make it seem like it's just off the top of his head ripping. Shit. Byron Allen's mom used to live in my building when I lived in Century City. I remember one time I'm in the lobby and he's in the lobby and he's kind of complaining to me that nobody watches his show. And this is at the time when on I don't know what channel it is for you guys, but for me it's channel 7, ABC. Uh his talk show was on at like 4 in the morning on Sunday nights. And it's like he's interviewing Tootie from Facts of Life. It's like, bro, like you need better guests and maybe a better time slot, Ace. Yeah, Florentine's the best. By the way, speaking of Florentine, check out Jim Florentine on the Inappropriate Earl podcast. I'll get to the plugs. Let me thank my fan funding. Thank you to Mason in Portland for joining the Bonzo Berry level membership. We will be doing a stream tomorrow night, 7 p.m. My flag show. Yeah, but I mean, it was just the way they would set up the question was just so obvious. No, I didn't, Michael. I did not. He never told me anything. I just knew a few people at Podcast One who, because like on Podcast One, Piper was killing it. Like before I got there and during, I mean, I think it was like 50,000 downloads a week or something. Like something crazy like that. Yeah, it's syndicated on Podcast One, and then we went to Airwolf, and you know, just and then I think I saw somewhere Chael Sonnen, the UFC guy. He was telling some bullshit about him and Piper were supposed to do something. I'm telling you what happened. Piper was going to start doing my podcast, Inappropriate Earl. I don't think we were going to call it Inappropriate Earl, but Dingbat, you want to see my titties? You better donate some greenery. He was going to start doing my podcast until we found a permanent home. I mean, we weren't like best friends or anything, but he appreciated my stand-up comedy. We were friends, absolutely. Um, oh, I'm sorry. Um, Byron Allen. I think it was syndicated. I mean, he's fucking loaded, man. He owns the Weather Channel. Like, oh yeah, I do have crooked glasses. I sat on my glasses, so I'm buying a new pair this week. Thank you, Jack. Um, you know, I really do look like Roderick Strong in these. Adam. Oh, there you go, Jack. Um, I mean, Byron Allen is one of the richest men in show business. Carlos Danger, $2. Is that a super chat or a super sticker? I'm still out of the loop. Is that the real Carlos Danger? Thank you. Yes, made so much money in super chats. I replaced the FedEx box with a wrestling doll. Actually, I'll do two wrestling dolls just because I'm a. There we go. It's a better background. Thank you, Carlos Danger. Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, I remember when I was in grade school, Byron Allen was on, what was that show, Real People on Channel 4, and he's been steadily working for, what is that, 50 years. I mean, he made enough money where he can buy the Weather Channel for $300 million. And if you think about it, I mean, the Weather Channel will never go out of business. There will always be weather. and people will always be interested in the weather. So the ratings will never go down. Um, I mean, like owning a gas station, Earl, you never said what was in the box. Oh, my friend, what did he send me? Hold on, what was in the box? Oh, my friend Anthony. I won't dox him by saying his last name. He was at the final two Kiss concerts in New York, and he sent me a couple shirts that were Madison Square Garden only. So, and I just that's what was in the box. Thank you, Carlos Danger, for the two hooves. If that is indeed the real Carlos Danger, and even if it's not, thank you for the two hooves. Um, the mailbox was just as popular as Earl's song. I know. I mean, I should have just kept it up there. I can go downstairs in the trash and get it. Um, I like Jim Cantone because he's an Indians Guardians fan. I don't know who Jim Cantone is, but he probably doesn't know who I am. So, ACDC 5150 Cumia. John Carpenter's great. Escape from New York, The Thing, and many others. I mean, I went to the Hollywood Bowl show. It was good. I There's a very good energy in the crowd that night. You could tell, like, I mean, I do believe it's their last show. I'm not going to that fucking CGI shit, but it was I mean, it was a clusterfuck outside. They had the merch line right by the entrance line. So you had people standing in the merch line who thought they were in the entrance line and vice versa. So, it was a real fucking clusterfuck. Sorry about that. Uh, I mean, I never really watched the Weather Channel, but I know that's a joke I do on stage now, where I talk about being a Kiss's last show at the Hollywood Bowl, and I'm like, you probably sense a bit of sarcasm from me. That's because I went to their last show in '95 too. Yeah, Halloween. I mean, there's many films. Did I ever meet Chris Farley or John Candy? Briefly, I met Chris Farley at Kookaroo, which was a chicken restaurant in the '90s out here. And I met John Candy on the 10th hole of Bel Air Country Club, the 10th hole of Bel Air Country Club, you've got the tee here, the clubhouse right here. So it's nerve wracking because the whole clubhouse is watching anyone on the 10th tee. And then you've got the green up here. And in between is a canyon. So John Candy hit about three straight balls into the canyon. This guy's like, Mr. Candy, I don't have any balls. He's like, why not? He's like, well, you just hit the last three in the canyon. And John Candy looks at me and goes, I don't see a canyon. So, I mean, very, I do like Steel Panther. Um, yeah, I saw Ted Nugent Kiss with Ted Nugent. Oh, I might go to the first hologram concert just out of curiosity. Have you ever met Harpo Marx? No, I haven't. Phantom of the Park, yeah. Phantom of the Park does not necessarily hold up. I think the ace in that is black in some of the fight scenes. I didn't see Dragged Across Concrete. Dangerous Toys had that one song, Bang, bang, what's that sound? You're giving me up when I hit the ground. Good song. I mean, I think well, I wouldn't say I met him really, but when we were at Kookaroo, I could tell he was like trying to eat healthier and whatnot. But it was probably a little too late. I mean, I saw him at a King game where he was wearing a Bobby Hull Blackhawks shirt, and he was so fucking big at the time, you couldn't see the B and the L. Like, he had a round back, so I guess he had around everything, but, you met everyone. Well, I mean, I've met most celebrities. No, I think Peter was dubbed. I think Ace's voice. Peter Criss was dubbed, but in the fight scene by Colossus, the roller coaster, which I believe is still the largest standing wood roller coaster, um, the stunt Ace was black. I was neighbors with Elvis. If you and see my we lived at 10500 Roca Place in Bel Air. Elvis lived below us at, I believe it's 10550 Roca Place. That's ROCCA Place. You can look up, there's very few pictures of Elvis at that house, but there is one, I believe, where he's getting out of like a huge stretch Cadillac. So if you look at that picture, my house was above it. Oh, I remember when Phantom of the Park, it was on a Saturday night. And I remember the ratings at the time, it was the highest rated TV movie ever. I'm assuming it's been surpassed, but yeah, I mean, that would have been cool to meet Hunter S. Thompson. Ace was played, but yes, he was played by a black stuntman. I mean, it is kind of cool to think back in my childhood and go, my neighbors at one point in time, not necessarily at the same time, were Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Caan, O.J. Simpson, uh, Gloria Vanderbilt, Harry Nielsen, the fifth Beatle. I mean, I remember Harry Nielsen taking me up when his house was being built, and I'll never. It's like it was 2 seconds ago. I was walking through the skeleton of what would then be his house, and then I got to walk through it when it was built. And his house was the first house that had a basketball court in it. It was a half court, but I still very much remember. And it's great because his house was above my house. Um, so I and I think Kelsey Grammer lived in it after Harry Nielsen moved out. Um, oh yeah, it's funny. I was just telling about Kiss on the Tom Snyder show was yesterday with someone saying how Gene and Paul were pissed that Tom Snyder started gravitating to talking towards Ace and Peter. Oh yeah, Paul Lynn was so funny to me. Like as a kid, I thought, why is this guy fucking so happy? And then that was just because he was gay. I think the funniest line from that was he looked at Gene and goes, "Hey, when you guys argue, do you kiss and make up?" um, Hello, Brittany. Always a pleasure to see you in the stream. I mean, and who I'm trying to. Will Chamberlain was a neighbor at one point. Slim Jim Phantom, uh, Barry Manilow. What was the Elkie Summer? With the Swedish supermodel? I think she was porking Slim Jim Phantom. Who else? Howard Keck, who's like a billionaire, a oil guy. Um, oh, Paul Lynn was so funny to me. No, it was Kip. Um, it was on a Saturday night. The debut was on a Saturday. Tom Jones, yeah, Tom Jones. We weren't necessarily neighbors. He probably lived maybe about half a mile from me, but I would go to his house for Halloween. It was an all brick house, beautiful all brick house, and I believe because it kind of looked like a castle, and Nicolas Cage bought it after. Not sure who lives there now. Uh, OJ was a neighbor of mine. Now this is before he moved to Brentwood. Dominant. No, I don't want to invade Pat's show. I'm probably going to end the stream sooner than later. I mean, it's tough to like, figure out when to go do these streams. But I don't think too many people are um, mad that I have 16 people. It's not like I'm stealing 16 listeners from Kevin or Pat or, it's not like I'm getting thousands of dollars in super chats. That could be going to us. Um, I don't know about that ACDC. He might have bought a Nicolas Cage house, but I don't think he bought the one that was by me. So, but maybe he did. I don't know. I don't keep up on LA real estate. My dad had a lot of friends in Miami, and they lived on Sunset Island number one. Um, and if you watch, I think it's season two of Miami Vice. The cool thing about Sunset Island number one was they used a lot of the homes on that in Miami Vice. And the episode where Isai Morales plays a nighttime home invader, um, he's staking out a house and his car is in my parents' driveway. Yeah, I mean, but I try and be respectful, Kip. Uh, I mean, like I said, my streams don't do well enough where I think I make anyone jealous of, me going on at the same time they do. I mean, I would love to have 80 people in my chat, but I don't. So, but I've also just been, my stream has only been monetized, I think, for 2 weeks now, shade under 2 weeks. So, I'm doing good for someone. Now, I've been streaming for a couple months, but I've only been monetized from, for the last 2 weeks. So, I mean, I don't think they're jealous of me, but yeah, I mean, I'm cool with Stanhope. Stanhope's always nice to me when I see him at the Comedy Store. I mean, I don't think he knows my name, but he's always, "Hey, dude, what's up?" Yeah, I mean, I mean, Ozzy probably makes some pretty fat publishing money. I'll tell you that. Sorry, I'm watching Jonathan Quick be interviewed. You know, it's weird to see him in Ranger gear. Uh, an extra in what? William Zoom. Um, so now when I end the stream in a couple minutes, everyone go to Pat's stream. Uh, or Kevin's stream if he's still going on. Tomorrow night I'll be doing my flagship stream, Sunday night, 7 p.m. sharp on the button, guys, on the button. I'm going to work out in a few minutes. Jack Burton, pass on what? Or are you doing crosstalk? Everything is allowed in my stream. Everything. Um, so, oh, okay. I mean, I like Pat, but I don't know who likes who in this stream. Yes. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Wayne. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Home Invaders episode. Early on in the episode, Isai Morales is staked out in my parents' driveway. Now that was, I think, 1985, and my parents didn't move to Miami till 1988. Now their house now looks completely different. It has does. If you look at the, you can go on Zillow or just pump in the. If you want to pump in the address of my childhood home, it's 10500 Roca Place, ROCCA Roca Place, Bel Air, California. And if you want to see my, I guess, adult home in Miami, let me see if I can remember the address. It looks completely different now, by the way. I think they tore it down and rebuilt it. 1525 Northview Road, Miami, Florida, Sunset Island number 1. It's not weird, Brittany. Um, my dad was a entrepreneur in the graphite and oil world, and my mom was her family was in the thoroughbred racing business, and I guess you'd call her a white trash investor. You know, she was an early investor in Coca-Cola and Standard Oil, and she made a lot of money when, obviously, I don't want to turn this into a stock program, but when a stock splits, you get 2 for 1, double your money. And I believe the Coca-Cola stock split 3 or 4 different times for her, as well as the Standard Oil. Well, my parents moved there in '98, and no, I'm sorry, '88, and they both died in '98, 2 months apart. So I would go back there 3 to 4 times a year for 10 years. And I think the last time I was there was for my dad's funeral. So which was March of '98. I haven't been back since. I haven't even visited their graveside. They're buried together in Miami, and my mom bought me the plot right next to her. So when I do kick the bucket, I will be, I don't know, I guess I'll be buried in Miami, which is funny because I don't really necessarily identify with Miami that much. I was going to have my ashes buried in the main room of the Comedy Store. Hello. So yeah, that's my family history. A lot of people ask me how I'm related to RFK Jr. My dad's sister's Ethel Kennedy. So we are first cousins. So there you have it. If you have any last minute questions, concerns, get them now. We're going to go for about 8 more minutes, hour and a half. Actually, we probably already surpassed that. We had a baby stream before this for 15 minutes, but the internet was a little wonky, to be honest with you. I always like to thank the people who've tipped. Thank you to Mason in Portland and Carlos Danger. All tips are appreciated. Um, you will finally be. I know when I'm dead, I'll be an East Coaster. Well, I'm. Yeah, literally for life. But I don't plan on dying anytime soon. It's my goal for the first to be the first person to ever live forever. It's gonna be hard, but I'm gonna try. I mean, I look pretty good for 55. And this isn't a high. Well, this is a, pretty good camera. Uh, I am upgrading my iMac sooner than later, so I should have a higher quality camera. And I might throw on a 4K camera at the top, trying to. I am 55, Dr. Nova. How dare you? September 17th, 1968. Let me check. Getting messages. The camera looks great. I mean, it could be a little better, ACDC. I mean, this is only a 2-year-old iMac. So, it's, um, But in the computer world, a 2-year-old or 2-year difference is crazy. I mean, I don't know what the camera is like on the newest version of the iMac, but I'm sure it's an upgrade over this one. And I think that it might be in the mail already, but thanks to Tracy Carnazzo, I will have the proper cable for my mic. So hopefully it won't be the next stream because that's tomorrow night, but hopefully next week's stream will sound a little better. I'm trying to make it worth your guys' while to listen and have fun. I appreciate the listens, the likes, and all that stuff. Yes, Tracy Carnazzo in the house. Everyone follow Tracy Carnazzo, New York's finest, currently on the road with the great Hannah Berner from Bravo's Summer House. We got 5 more minutes left before I get on the elliptical. I do my best, ACDC. I try and provide value for the tips that you guys give me, and even the people who just listen. Even for the 21 people who hit the like button, I want you to come back. And you can come back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to see Dr. Nova if I can name all my cars in order that I've had them. My first car was a bright red BMW 318i. I then had, ironically enough, a convertible Jeep Wrangler. After that, I had a black convertible Mustang. After that, I had a burgundy Ford Expedition. After that, I had the Red Rocket, a Dodge Magnum. After that, I had a Black Panther Dodge Hellcat. And now I have a fully loaded bright red Jeep Ruby Dubicon that I have to give back next month. And I'm unsure as to what I will get next. We got a super chat. Let me pause the TV so I can do that properly. Hold, please. Hold on. Let's get Magnum TA. Yes. I'm not sure what that is referencing, but I'm a fan of Magnum TA. Peter Chicken Man Brennan. Earl, can you get a stud show showcase in front of Emily? Ask for your friend. Um, no. Jack Burton, $5. Hunter Green, Geostorm. That's my new toy. Every time I get a super chat, I'll sound the alarm. Stagwar, I pictured you as a convertible. My sister had a VW Rabbit. Mersh drives an old BMW. Oh yeah, but I had a 318i when it was kicking, man. Let me tell you that much. You know how much puss I got in that car? None. I could see you rocking a Buick Grand National back in the 80s. Maybe I could rock a Cadillac. What the hell was that? I could rock a Cadillac, um, like Bill Duke and Commando when he stole the car. I drive by that dealership all the time. Ironically, it still looks the same. Every time I drive by it, I put on my brakes in case Bill Duke's trying to steal another caddy. Um, I mean, it's a decent roster. What's your options for the next Earl mobile? I've been looking at the new Mustang, the Dark Horse, which is the premium Mustang they have right now. It's design. It's a little too Camaro-y for me. Um, and then maybe a BMW. Go back to my roots. Well, I did like the Cadillac that Katie Seagal drove in Sons of Anarchy, and Patrick Swayze in that last TV show he did. Um, thank you, Jack Burton. Let me. Was that a super sticker or super chat? I don't know how to like. Oh, I did like it. Thank you very much. Uh, Peter Chicken Man. Wait, Tracy Carnazzo. It's like 10 degrees in New York City. Yeah, I mean it's like 40 here, and it feels like 10 degrees. But we're pussies out here in LA. I mean, Michael. I don't like Camaros. Yeah, but I really like the Dark Horse AC/DC. It's a slightly different shape than a regular Mustang, and it's pretty. But I think they're taking the year off from the Shelby Cobra, which is coming back. I think next year, 2025. So, but I can't wait a year. After all, with my my allegiance to the Shelby family, I should have at some point in my life a Shelby Cobra. Black hold on, black man's wheels. I mean, I guess I could get those. I know we're pusses out here, Tracy. Jay Santos, $1.99. Blessings to you, Earl. Thank you, Jay Santos. Blessings to you. That's your third super chat. Let's all celebrate. I mean, I have to run. I love you, Tracy. Everyone follow Tracy Carnazzo, not Tracy Camazo, Tracy Carnazzo. Are you allowed to take things with the name Shelby for a ride without several friends? Hello. 15 degrees. Everyone stay warm. Love you. Love you a lot. I mean, I've always wanted a Shelby Cobra, but those are like close to 100 grand. So unless I start making, big money, I'd probably. I mean, the Dark Horse is probably 65 grand, like for the fully loaded one. So I got to start looking. The two-door Ford Bronco is appealing to me as well. So, um, you know, William Zoom, that's a possibility. I would have to do a test drive. Maybe I'll pick up my top super chatters and we'll go for a ride. Hello. Unless you get hit by a Walmart truck. Pew! Wheezy Jefferson in the house. It was just a weak battery. The guy said I must have left a light on, but I don't think I did. But so far, so good. Fingers crossed. Does comedy pay well? It does now. I mean, and I have no problem talking about how I make money. Voiceover pays very well, but it's a difficult. Even though I'm in the voiceover inner circle, it's still like it's tough. It's like you have to really like hustle. And then comedy pays well. I mean, a main room spot at the comedy store. You split the door with the comics, and there's usually only 6, 7 comics on the lineup. So, if it's sold out, that's 350, 400 people. Now you figure 50 people got in for free. So, you're splitting a $20, $30 ticket, 300 times 350 with 5 or 6 other people. So that pays well. A smaller spot in the original room pays $50, and then super chats. I mean, I've already made a couple $100. I'm not going to get rich with streaming, but like it's good side income. Um, and I think I'm pretty close to the 4,000 hour mark. So that's when they put ads in your videos, I guess, and your shorts, which my shorts do reasonably well. I mean, I'm not killing it, but I'm not. doing poorly either. So you can make a couple grand a month on YouTube if you do it right. Um, Walmart stores aren't safe. Well, if you're looking for the sriracha, it's usually in the t-shirt section. Peter Chicken Man Brennan will bring the Ritz crackers. You better. Well, I mean, but like the mass marketed Shelby Cobras, I'm guessing for a stock model or 100 grand or so. Jay Santos, $1.99. Have you ever met Jason Lee? I've not. That's Jay's third super on the live stream. Thank you very much, Jay Santos. Are you on Cameo? I am on Cameo. I don't do it a lot because my price is high on Cameo. I'm not going to lie. They asked me early on to be on it, and you know, I'm just like, and it's usually I think I've done about 5 or 6 cameos over the last couple of years. People want me to roast them, but when I roast someone, I spend a lot of time on it. I just don't. Okay, for 5 minutes, let me look at your picture and But so I charge I think it's $109 for Cameo because it's a lot of work if you do it right. So I don't. I think my price is high given my lack of fame level, if you want to call it that. So, but I'm like, hey, if you want me to spend 2 hours roasting you, you got to pay me for it. Heading out for the night, but thank you, Brittany. Be safe wherever you're at. Have a good night. Thank you as always for listening. Fan of Sam Tripoli, ACDC. Yes, I am. Um, Dick. Oh, I thought you said dick pics. Dice does phenomenal on cameos. Yeah, he's great, and I think my buddy Sean Avery kills it. Um, but I think they did have a Cobra Mustang, for about 70 grand. Now I probably would lease just because I don't drive that much, so it doesn't really make sense for me to own a car. But well, I mean, I probably couldn't afford a real Cobra unless uh, I do have a dog, Michael. Her name is Lois. She's asleep right now. She's an older dog, about 13 by my calculations. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I think she was on the last stream, but she doesn't like it when I hold her on camera. She's a private dog. Cobra is another Marion Cobretti. I was going to buy they have a Stallone doll at the, I think it's slystallone.com. It's crazy to me that he has a website selling merch. Even he got fucked over in the business. He doesn't get any money from the Rocky movies. I think that the studio does, or someone bought the rights to it underneath him. And like, isn't that crazy? Like, you would think he would get money from the Rocky movies. So, I guess my beef with Roast Battle sounds pretty fucking petty. Like, if Stallone's getting fucked over, I guess I can get fucked over too. But, you know, I'm just a very, you know, I'm a very loyal person. So if someone burns me, I'm like the Mossad. I don't forget, I don't forgive, and I'll always get my revenge. Always. So the few people out there who burned me, and I know you're hate watching me right now, probably under an assumed name, I'm coming. How creepy was that? Polly from Rocky married Adrian in real life. Are you sure about that? You got that right, Jay. My revenge is coming. Trust me on that one. Now, a lot of people, I've done 10 extra minutes here. I thought I was supposed to get off at an hour and a half. And I could feel the caffeine kicking in. So thank you guys for listening. Let me thank my tippers tonight. I thank you all. I always like to make the tippers feel like they're getting value. Thank you for Mason for the membership. Carlos Danger, Jack Burton, Jay Santos, and Jay Santos. The Earl Warriors are a small but mighty group. William Zoom, the great William Zoom. I bet Jeff Ross is one of these anonymous people. I'm sure he is. And if you are Jeff, you got no idea what's coming down the pike. Thank you, Jake Hudson. What's your favorite street joke, Stagwar? It's funny. I don't want to ruin. Well, I guess I can watch on. I'll tease it. I'd answered that question, Stagwar, and it will be on Christy Miller's podcast, Old School Comedy, out Monday. I want to say it now, but listen to Christy's podcast. I'm sure he does, William, and that's all right because I've never told one lie about the man. Because that's the greatest thing you can have in your life is you tell the truth. People can't really argue it. It's awesome. Christy is one of my longtime LA comedy friends. We started together pretty much. We did a lot of shitty rooms and had a lot of laughs. And then she moved to New York, and we're both you know, trying to make it. Will you be on Joey Diaz's podcast anytime soon? He hasn't asked me. When you're a comic the caliber of Joey Diaz, Rogan, Theo, and whoever, you don't ask to be on their podcast. They ask you. I can't comment on that, Stagwar. We are your disciple Earls. Yes, you are, Syrian. Listen, Tim Dillon told me, Earl, all you need is 2,000 fans, and you could make a nice living. I don't think many exes watch, maybe one or two. But I've never said anything. I don't do that with exes. I don't talk bad about them because that never makes you feel better. It might make you feel better for 2 seconds, and then 3 minutes later you miss them again. I mean, really, the only ex that I would say anything bad about, I don't even mention her name. But I think you guys can all guess that one. Um, so, um, but other than that, I speak very highly of most of my exes. Gail's mom, and several others. When is her podcast with you going to air? Which one? Yes. Which one, William? Earl is you mean Christy Miller? Monday afternoon on her. It was her podcast, not mine. Earl is the nicest guy in comedy until you get him at 100%. I'm the greatest guy in LA comedy until you burn me, and then I lock in. I'm very much like the Mossad. When the Palestinian Authority attacked the Israeli athletes at the Munich Olympics, it took the Mossad, I think, like 25 years, and they got 11 of the 12 terrorists. I think the other one died of natural causes, but he had to look over his shoulder his whole life. So he was basically captured. Anytime he'd start a car, he'd have to go, fuck, is this going to blow up? Um, anytime he put his, key in a door, is this door going to blow up? So that's me. All right, we'll go another 6 minutes on the button. So if you guys have any last minute problems, concerns, questions, ask them now, and then go to Pat Dixon or Kevin Brennan's stream. And tomorrow night, 7 p.m., the flagship stream show of the Earl Skakel the Earl verse will be back on. Maybe we'll talk a little AEW wrestling and Sting's last match and the rumored Will Osprey will be at Revolution in Greensboro, and so will the Daddy Man. Um, well, I'm Irish and technically Jewish. Um, because my mom's was Jewish. Yeah, I mean, the Mossad, like, you're never out of their radar. Um, so there's no way I could live like that, knowing that every time you started a car, it might blow up, or even when you get a FedEx delivery, is the guy a hitman? You know, that's how I am in LA comedy. And to be honest with you, very few people have burned me. You know, but to the few who have, and they know who they are, I'll get you. Might take me 5 years, might take me 20, might take me in the next hour. It's just whatever kind of mood I'm in. Ever done any body double work? No, I have not. I have a strange body. Like, I'm 6'1", probably about 200 pounds right now. I'm not overly muscular, but I'm not skinny. I'm just, I'm a tweener, because I'm big bone. Only your bank account is Jewish. Hello. Um, like, I have big legs. Like, my nickname uh, in high school and in my early college years was Baby Platts, named after the great bodybuilder Tom Platts, who had, I think, the biggest legs in bodybuilding history. Um, and then I had big shoulders, so I was also known as Baby DeMay, named after the flexing Dutchman Barry DeMay. My favorite bodybuilder was Bob Paris. Uh, Boy, no, this is Adidas, man. He wears FUBU. Shit. Um, I remember Tom Platt. I mean, his legs were crazy. Like, he could stand them beyond hip distance, and the inner thighs would still touch. And he had a big upper body, but his legs were so big that he never really won the Mr. Olympia. Well, he never won the Mr. Olympia, and he never really finished that high because his legs were so. He just looked weird, and like I said, he did not have a small upper body at all. Um, Rich Plana, yeah, Rich Plana was just too much for me. Um, I imagine you being a Franco Columbo man. I mean, I'm not against Franco Columbo, but I mean, I would say my favorite bodybuilders were Tom Platz, Barry DeMay, Bob Paris. I remember once I saw Bob Paris at a bookstore, and he was literally the only reason I bought Joe Weider's Dynamic Body Shake. And I went up to him and said, "Hey, man, you're the only reason I drink Joe Weider's, Dynamic Body Shake." And he goes, "I don't drink that shit. They just pay me." I'm like, "Oh." At least he was honest. Of course, Bob Paris, I think he was the first openly gay bodybuilder. And that's not a big deal now, but imagine the late 80s. I mean, how many, I don't want to say the F word on stream. I don't know if I can get my stream taken down for that, but you know how many times Bob Paris probably heard the F word in front of him and no one knew he was gay and he probably wanted to beat their ass. Yeah, Gaspari, great bodybuilder. I did like his supplements. I mean, right now I take Redcon supplements a lot, and that's because I saw Kenny Omega endorsing them. They're pretty good. Good amino drink. Uh, yeah, I know. Random guy, isn't that crazy? Well, Sting won't be wrestling after um, March 3rd. So, Stagwar Earl is a big Lee Harvey fan. Come on, man. Be cool. Play cool. Play cool. Um, Russell Simmons literally wrote my Adidas song. Oh, did he? No, no, wait, I'm sorry. Where did you get that LED sign from? I'll give these guys a plug. I paid full price for it. I don't get any free merch from them. There's a store on Melrose called Radical Neon. That's Radikal Neon, and they're amazing. And you could fuck with the brightness, like you know. Here's what it looks like, not off. Here's what it looks like, barely on, and here's what it looks like, full power. Like so I try and keep it at a happy medium. Is there anything off limits in comedy? I mean, if you're a white comic, you probably can't say the N word. I mean, Lee Haney was a great bodybuilder. I just really gravitated towards, um, those guys that I mentioned. I'm trying to think of who else I liked. Robbie Robinson, the Black Prince. I think the Arab guy, Samir Banu. Um, Yeah, Jake Cutler's a big. I've seen him before, and Mike O'Hearn, although he's a fitness model, he's a fucking big guy. 'Cause I used to work out at Gold's Gym in Venice in the heyday of bodybuilding, and it was pretty wild because I was a pretty big guy back then, but like I looked like I don't know one of Patrick Dempsey's friends in Can't Buy Me Love in Gold's Gym. I mean, just giants. I remember seeing Lou Ferrigno walk in once, put 225 on the bench press, completely cold, and just did 225 as a warm up weight. Now, at that time, that was my max, maybe once or twice. Um, how much gear were you on? I was never on steroids. I've never done steroids. I've never done any drug. I mean, I'm trying to think what I was taking back then. I mean, a lot of protein shakes, creatine. Like I think I've said this before in chat. EAS had these great gummies, creatine gummies. Man, I would just gobble those things. Did you know Sam Kinison? I did not, unfortunately. I'm pretty good friends with Dice. We're gonna go 9 more minutes so we can do it. I can say I did a 2-hour stream. Now, technically, I've done a 2-hour stream because there was a 14-minute one before this, but the internet was wonky. Earl would never take any supplements that would damage the hog. Yeah, I mean, creatine, androglutamine. I mean, I did take glutamine. I never took. Well, I did take. What was that stuff? It was controversial. It was really what got McGuire busted for the roids. Androstenedione, or it was legal. It wasn't a steroid. It was like a supplement that was very, very popular. You could buy. Yeah, I think it was that. I think I bought it. Let me look that up. I'm a one man army, so I do apologize for staring down on my iPad. I'm trying to think who made Andro. Yes, the particular company made it. I'm trying to think. Trying to think who took it. Yeah, but it was a really popular brand. I don't know, whatever. I don't want to waste time by looking that up, but it was helpful. Earl sitting on the female American Gladiators while they were working out. What's funny, you say that when I got the hockey commercial and then the United Airlines commercial, which was a football commercial. I was signed to Sports Plus. It was some sports agency, and it was me and all the American Gladiators. So I knew. I mean, I would see all these guys at auditions. Dan Clark, who was Nitro, Malibu, and the 38 Special video. A lot of those guys were in it. So, I mean, I would love to get Ed O'Neill on because he's been in a lot of movies. He was in Miami Vice. One of my favorite episodes as Artie Rollins. The rogue FBI agent, Andro 500. Maybe that was it. Let me check that out. ACDC. It was late 80s. I'm trying to think. It was real popular, but you could get it at like GNC. So um, it wasn't like illegal or anything. It's probably I'll just do an image search for the bottle, and I appreciate you guys. Yeah, nothing's coming up, but I appreciate you guys. Well, I don't do guests on the stream, Dr. Nova. Wheezy Jefferson, yeah, I knew plenty. I knew a Deca Durablin, yes. I never took roids because I never wanted to be a bodybuilder. Uh, so I never really had an interest in like just being big just to be big. Although my one friend Will, he was a fucking freak, man. He took bull steroids, so, like, what they would give to bulls to make them bigger, and he would take the same dosage that they would give an 800-pound bull, and, can you live we're probably about the same, Michael, to be honest with you. Yeah, you couldn't bring back Married with Children, that a show like that would never work in this day and age. It just I mean, you could bring it back, but it would not be the same, to be honest with you. It'd just be too PC, and me and RFK probably about the same strength. I mean, he's a little older than me, but not much. I mean, I think he's what 61. I'm 55. Uh, so I mean, I would say, I mean, in my heyday of lifting, I could do 225 on the bench like 12 times. Now, maybe twice, one or two times, because I stopped lifting for a while and got into yoga. So I'm just now getting back into lifting. I mean, I used to in my heyday do close to 30 pull-ups. I tried to do I want to see how many I can do now. I couldn't do one. Like it's boy, I mean, I was embarrassed, but I want to get pull-ups are so good because they're great for your arms, your your the back shoulder. Um, I mean, I mean, like I said, I'm 200 pounds, so pulling up 200 pounds just a couple times, I think would give me a good shape, and they're good for your lats. I mean, they're really the perfect exercise. So I was kind of bummed out I couldn't do one. I couldn't do one. I used to do 30 and pretty good form too. Um, Pull-ups. Well, I mean, I probably last did a pull-up maybe late 2017, early 2018, and yeah, just I was shocked that I couldn't do one. Because back on the bench, I've started doing heavy incline or decline bench, and I put up 225 a couple times. It was hard, but it was doable. But um, you know, I'm paying the price a little bit for basically not lifting weights for 5 years because I got so into yoga. Um, Joe Jackson, yeah, I can't imagine that. Um, how many liver transplants has he needed? Who? Rich Gaspari, Schwarzenegger. Sorry, I'm missing a few. Got 2 more minutes, so let me thank the tippers tonight one last time. Um, Thank you, Mason in Portland, Carlos Danger, Jack Burton, and Jay Santos. And thank you the other night to Pam I Am, Saint Ranger, and Beloved Chatter for all the free memberships, donated memberships the other night. Um, I mean, really, you could get away with push-ups, pull-ups, and sit-ups. The ups workout. Uh, but pull-ups are hard. I mean, like, wow, I had no idea how difficult they would be. Wait, did you? Oh, yes, you donated on the first stream tonight. I apologize. Thank you to ACDC 5150, a frequent tipper. As William Zoom told me, I don't like to call you guys donators because that implies that I'm just doing this to get money from you guys, which I am not. If you've noticed tonight, I've read the majority of free chats too, but I do have to make the tippers feel appreciated Not more than the free chats, but I appreciate all of you. Thanks, Zoom. I can't do pull-ups. I'll do squats and push-ups. Yes, squats are great. They actually say squats are really good for men and increasing their testosterone. Now, I don't know how that correlates into anything, but wait, Stagwar, I'm missing your shitty jokes. Two and a half men is what Mrs. Shelby called the warm-up session. I'm sorry, I missed that. I mean, it is now. There's only 15 people in chat, so it's not that hard. Androstein Dion. I'm looking up all Staggy's jokes. Okay, I think I got them all, Staggy. I don't want to make you feel underappreciated. Um, yeah. I mean, I have my legs are still big, and that's probably from the years of hockey. Running and skating. I've always, I mean, they're a little skinnier than they used to be, the quads and hams, but yeah, they want that ass, Michael. I mean, I used to believe Herschel Walker, but there's no way he got that upper body from just uh, push-ups. But my favorite boxer of all time, the great Ron Lyle, he swears he never lifted weights and he just did pull-ups in prison because he was in prison for 7.5 years. Now, I don't know if I believe this, but Ron Lyle said he did 1,000 push-ups a day in prison. Now, I believe he had the time to do 1,000 push-ups, but that seems like a lot. All right, guys, we just hit the 2-hour mark. And if you add in the 14 minutes from the first stream where ACDC 5150 donated, or I'm sorry, tipped, we've done a good show. So I'm going to say goodnight to you. I'm going to work out. Thank you guys very much. Well, that's why when you look at the Ron Lyle George Foreman fight, when they did the face off at the beginning of the fight, Ron Lyle got right in Foreman's face, and you could tell Foreman was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And you could tell Ron Lyle was like, "Bro, I don't know if he got raped or he raped someone in prison, but like, I've been fucked in the ass in prison, bro. This is easy." I know you like the Lyle Foreman fight. Check out Foreman versus Cooney for an amazing KO. Yeah, I mean, well, you won't see me at 4 a.m., but thank you, Michael, for listening. Um, Ron Lyle, Muhammad Ali's a great fight. That's an underrated fight because Lyle was ahead on all rounds going into the last round, but he got tired. I don't think he had very good stamina. I've seen some very jacked dudes fresh out of prison. Oh, I remember when Ricky Martin, who was Rod Martin's brother, the guy who played on the Raiders, he was a member at the gym I was at, Family Fitness in Beverly Hills, and he kind of disappeared for a while, and then he came back because he was in prison. He was fucking way muscular than when he first went into prison. Um, Weezy Jefferson, the last statement I will be reading tonight. Mike Tyson push-ups. Having a plan until someone punches you in the face. Mickey Ward versus Arturo Gatti. Yes. Have a good night, you too, Star. Have a good night to everyone else. You know where to follow me. But Are You Ready to Rock did not, so I will say I'm at Earl Skakel on all social media. EARLSKAKEL. I'll see you tomorrow night, everyone. 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Share the stream if you can. If you can't, that's fine too.